Afghanistan is perhaps the last country in the world that one would expect to launch successful mega project, especially since the country has been nothing but a war-wrecked, plagued with violence and poverty for the past 50 years. But today, and despite the endless hardship and misery Afghanistan has launched and is halfway through the implementation of its first mega project with zero foreign aid and literally not even engineering advice from anywhere. The project is an artificial river called the Qushtepa Canal that, once completed, will be one of the longest and largest irrigation canals in the world. What is the Qushtepa Canal? Why are they building, and how did they succeed in achieving such a colossal milestone? The Qushtepa Canal is a 285-kilometer long, 152 meters wide, and 8.5 meters deep artificial river in northern Afghanistan that extends from the Amu Darya River starting in the province of Balkh and passing through the province of Faryab. Approximately half of the canal has been completed, and the rest is being built at a rather fast pace due to an ongoing growing water and food shortage crisis across the country. Some countries that share the Amu Darya River with Afghanistan complain that the canal may affect their share of the river walk, or however Afghanistan has vowed to not allow such a thing to happen. It is also clarified that it is the only country that literally does not benefit from the river, and thus it's entitled to its share. This canal is wide an urgent matter for the people of North Afghanistan, which has become an arid desert over the past few decades as a result of global warming, declining groundwater reservoirs, and lack of sufficient irrigation system. The canal is now bound to provide water to more than 1 million Afghans while enabling thousands of farmers to return to agriculture. This will be achieved as 55,000 hectares of land were turned into farm with a great focus on grains and wheat. In fact, the country aims to become a wheat exporter by 2028. The project began in March 2022 and is said to be completed in three phases. The first and second phase involve the actual dredging of the canal, while the third phase is dedicated to the installation of water irrigation systems and other infrastructure. The project is managed by the Afghan National Development Corporation and is fully funded by the government from tax revenue. Initial estimates put the cost at $500 million. However, new estimates predict the need for additional $100 million. This leads us to wonder how the Afghans managed to undertake such a colossal project with limited and rather old-equipped, a limited number of experienced engineers, and no outside help. Some Asian media outlets were too harsh when describing how the Kushtipa Canal is being built. They alleged mistakes, carelessness, and poor engineering methods. However, we did our homework, and needless to say, those media outlets are dead wrong. The government funded the project and designed it based on intensive land surveying and soil studies. They did not send some divers to conduct such complex work in a random manner. One of the main objectives of these studies was to ensure that water lifts are not needed due to associated costs, flood prevention during winter, and soil compatibility. Thus, the canal had to take a path on flat land with an elevation similar to that of the source area on the Amu-Darya River. They also had to ensure that the canal path is located on the most fertile lands and in close proximity to towns and villages along the way. Once the canal path with said 200 private contractors were spread over 114 sections representing the first phase that extends 108 kilometers, as many as 7,000 on-highway track and excavator drivers among others, including project engineers, worked and are still working on the project, as they have now moved to phase two, which is 177 kilometers long. Each contractor would spread tens of excavators in a line with enough space in between for the whole tracks. The tracks would then be fed and left in an orderly manner to run. There are loops in nearby designated low elevation areas. Once the section is dug and approved by the engineer and supervisor, the machines move to the next section and replicate the process based on detailed maps and specifications. The first step in the whole project involved the construction of 14 when the Amu Darya river levels raised. The 114 sections were separated from one another by a under dug a few meters wide dirt wall in order to control the filling process and prevent soil displacement at the banks, meaning the sections were filled rather slowly. One section number one, which is closest to the Amu Darya River, was completed. The water was allowed to flow into it from there. Other sections were filled gradually as the dirt wells between them were removed. We do have to emphasize here that this canal floor and sides were not lined with concrete slabs which, depending on who you talk to, is either good or bad. However, from our perspective and based on Amu Darya River water levels, which have not declined as a result of filling phase one of the canal, no concrete slabs mean more eventual natural irrigation and up kilometer away from the canal sites in addition to higher groundwater reservoir levels which act as backup water source during potential harsh droughts. And there is also the money issue because installing concrete slabs would have added more than $1 billion to the cost, which is something Afghanistan cannot afford. To concrete Phase 1 for the Heritage Ball Highway and another for the railway were also built, and needless to say the Afghans kept it simple and used a solid reinforced concrete slab design which involves power homes and workshops in the nearby areas which are mostly disconnected from the rest of the world due to the lack of power infrastructure. Small solar panel fields are also popping up on the new farms to power water pumps. The entire project was slated to be completed in 2028, but at the current pace we expect to be ready by as early as 2025. More bridges and culverts are also under construction. Finally, we do have to emphasize here that Afghanistan and a good portion of its 40 million residents in mostly rural and remote areas are facing famine because the country is under extremely harsh sanctions. So we do hope more mega projects related to water management of farming, electricity, and infrastructure will follow this amazing project, which is bound to help Afghanistan heal from the wounds of wars, progress, and become a productive member of the international community. Do you think Afghanistan, under the rule of the Taliban, can complete this mega project and initiate new ones? Let us know in the comment section, and please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.